this video is for solving equations with square roots. So before we get into this, I would like to remind you of a couple of things. First thing I'd like to remind you of is what is an exponent. So if I say 4 squared, what does that mean? What is 4 to the 3rd power? Or 4 to the 4th power? Right? This is not 4 times 2 is 8. It's not the same thing as multiplication. Right? It's actually repeated multiplication. So an exponent is repeated, as in again and again and again, multiplication. So we're going to multiply 4 times itself, excuse me, not times 2, 4 times 4 this many times. So 4 squared is 4 times 4. 4 to the 3rd is 4 times 4 times 4. 1, 2, 3 times. 4 to the 4th is 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 times, right? And this number gets larger and larger. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 is 256. Yep, right? So we have to be able to recognize that 4 to the 3rd is not equal to 4 times 3. These are different, and we must be able to recognize that they are different. Okay? So that's the first thing. Next thing. Let's talk about and review all of what we call perfect squares. All right? What is 1 squared? What is 2 squared? What is 3 squared? What is 4 squared? Etc. 6 squared, 7 squared, 8 squared, 9 squared, 10 squared, and then we're going to go all the way up to 20. 11 squared, 12 squared, 13 squared, 14 squared, 15 squared, 16 squared, 17 squared, 18 squared, 19 squared, and 20 squared. So 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 4 is 16. 5 times 5 is 25. And I'm going to pause here. And what I want you to do is pause this video, and I want you to find the rest of these perfect squares. What is 6 times 6? What is 7 times 7? 8 times 8, 9 times 9, 10 times 10, all the way up to 20 times 20. So pause this video now, and you find all of these numbers. Okay, you got them all? Here they are. So all of these numbers are called perfect squares. These numbers and these numbers, because they are a square. They are a number times itself. So that's the thing that we want to be able to recognize as well. So now that we've reviewed what are exponents and what are perfect squares, let's talk about how do we undo a square. So if we have an equation like this, x squared equals 36, well, we know we need to use inverse operations to solve, right? So we have a square here, like an x squared. How do we undo that? What is the inverse of that? And the answer is something called a square root, or square root, depending on what part of the country you're from. It looks like that, right? And that's not the division sign. Division sign is slightly different. This sign has this tail on it right here. That tail means it is a square root. Okay? So let's think about what does a square root do. And let's think about it by doing number 1 together. So number 1 is x squared equals 36. And we're going to follow these steps. We locate the variable. There it is, it's x. Then we're going to isolate or make it by itself. Okay, and x squared is already alone. Okay, we want x squared equal to some number and nothing else with the x squared. So not like 3x squared equals a number or x squared minus 5 equals a number, but only x squared all alone. And it's already done here. Step number 3 is take the square root of both sides. So we're going to put this symbol around both sides of the equal sign. The square root of x squared is just x. That's why we did that. Because the square and the square root cancel each other, just like addition and subtraction cancel, multiplication and division cancel. Okay? So now let's figure out what this is. The square root of 36. What this is asking is what number squared equals 36? Well, if we go back to our little sticky with all the perfect squares on it, we can see right here 6 squared is equal to 36. So the answer here is presumably 6. But I have a question for you. What is negative 6 squared? Well, again, this square, remember we talked about what exponents mean, this repeated multiplication thing. Negative 6 squared is the same thing as negative 6 times negative 6. It's multiplying it by itself. And a negative times a negative is a positive. So 6 squared is 36, and negative 6 squared is also 36. So here's the thing. We get more than one solution. We have 2 correct answers, and we need both of them to be right. So we can't just say x is equal to 6. We have to say x can be 6 or negative 6. So this is how we're going to do that. We're going to use this positive or negative symbol, plus or minus 6. And this symbol tells me that x can be positive 6 and x can also be negative 6. So there's our answer. So we take the square root of both sides. We find the number from our perfect square list, and we need a plus or minus in front of it. Okay? So I would like you to give the rest of these a shot. Go ahead and pause here, and you do the other 5. All right, do you have the answer? Make sure you have the answers before you check the answers. Here they are for you. And remember, you must show your work. You have to show me that you've done this square root symbol. If you only write the answers like I have in the book, I will not give you full credit. You need to show me what you did. These symbols need to be on all of those. Okay? Thank you very much.